Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today, well, it's to really get straight to the heart of something that feels a bit abstract, maybe, but is absolutely vital in your professional life. We're talking about trust. Yeah, our sources, they're really clear on this. Trust is basically the currency of leadership. So forget market cap, forget quarterly earnings for just a second. Think about it this way. Every single decision you make, how you talk to people, how you delegate tasks, how you react when someone messes up. It's like a transaction. You're either spending or earning this invisible currency, trust. And if that account hits zero, well, your influence is essentially bankrupt, done. But here's the real head scratcher we keep seeing. Trust is like the most valuable thing you have as a leader and also the most fragile, the most volatile, yet somehow it often gets treated like it's just there. An assumption, not an asset you need to actively, fiercely protect and grow. Okay, let's unpack this core idea, this metaphor, and figure out why it matters so much, especially right now.
Oh, it matters hugely right now. Because the whole professional world, it's shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Things are so transparent now. Things change so fast. In this kind of environment, trust isn't just a nice-to-have soft skill anymore. It really is the new competitive advantage. We're hearing integrity called a strategic imperative, not just, being a good person, but a strategic necessity.
Strategic. How so?
Well, think about the return on investment. High trust means speed. It means innovation because people feel safe. It means people stick around. That's measurable stuff. And if you just look around, analysts are saying we're in a kind of trust recession. And this isn't just about like big institutions or governments. It's happening right inside organizations.
You mean like employees being wary of their managers?
Exactly. Employees are skeptical about why leaders are doing things.
Hmm.
Customers are cynical about marketing promises, getting everyone pulling in the same direction, that alignment. It feels really fragile.
So skepticism is almost the default setting people start from now.
Pretty much, yeah. And without that basic trust, leadership just becomes, well, compliance. People do what you say because they have to. Maybe they're afraid of losing their job or getting a bad review. But with trust, you unlock genuine commitment, real enthusiasm. People follow you because they want to. And that's the critical difference,
Yeah.
The difference between an organization just slogging along.
Versus one that can actually tackle really ambitious, risky goals and do it fast because people are bought in.
Precisely. That shift from just compliance to real commitment, that's everything.
Okay, so if trust is this currency, we absolutely need to understand how people decide its value. You can't just flash your job title, right? It's about relational influence. Our source material lays out this really interesting structure for this, like 4 psychological dimensions that people are using, maybe subconsciously, to size you up.
That's right. They're constantly running this kind of internal audit on you. And the key thing is, for trust to be really strong, really stable, you need to be solid across all 4 dimensions. If one area is weak, the whole thing can wobble. So the first dimension is perceived competence or ability. It's the fundamental question. Do they actually know what they're doing? Can this leader get us where we need to go? The ancient example we looked at was King Solomon. His reputation wasn't just built on power. It was built on wisdom, judgment. That established his competence, which earned him trust, both internally and with other nations.
That clicks immediately. You could be the kindest boss in the world, but if your team thinks you're incompetent, that you're leading them towards disaster, well, trust evaporates pretty fast out of sheer self-preservation, doesn't it?
It does, and that leads straight into the second dimension, which, interestingly, can sometimes feel like it's in tension with pure competence. It's perceived benevolence or care.
Okay, benevolence. So this is about...
Essentially, yes. Do they genuinely care about my interests, my well-being, or are they just looking out for, number one, just focused on their own career, their own ambition?
This feels like the real core of it sometimes. I remember this one manager, brilliant technically, super competent, but everyone just knew they'd sacrifice you in a heartbeat if it helped them climb the ladder.
And that creates paralysis, right? That mismatch.
Totally. You just don't feel safe.
It's arguably the most powerful dimension, and also the most vulnerable to damage. True leadership needs both things, competence and compassion. The sources point to the example of Jesus as the Good Shepherd. The image is powerful because it's about profound care, even self-sacrifice, laying down his life for the sheep. That visible commitment to others before self, that earns a depth of loyalty that competence alone just can't touch.
Competence and care. Got it. What's number 3?
Number 3 is perceived integrity, character. Basically, are they honest? Do their actions actually line up with their words consistently? We looked at the Hebrew concept here, tamim. It means something like wholeness or an undivided heart. It's deeper than just not telling lies.
How so?
Well, tamim implies there's no gap between the public face and the private reality. It's about being integrated whole. That's the kind of deep consistency people instinctively look for and trust in a leader.
Okay, integrity as wholeness. Makes sense. And the last one.
And finally, number 4 is perceived predictability or reliability. And actually count on them. Will they follow through? If a leader is erratic, if their mood swings wildly, if the rules seem to change day to day, that creates huge uncertainty, anxiety, and that just shreds trust.
Because you never know where you stand.
Exactly. Predictability provides security. The ultimate standard here is thinking about covenant faithfulness, something based on an unchanging nature. If your team knows you'll keep your word, be consistent, react in generally predictable ways, they feel secure. And that security is what allows them to take risks, to be bold.
Wow. Okay, that's a really powerful framework. Competence, benevolence, integrity, and predictability. A full audit. Now, let's shift gears a bit and look at the downside, the erosion process. We know trust takes ages to build, like brick by painful brick, but it feels like it can be shattered in an instant. What's the constant lurking danger? What keeps chipping away at that foundation we build?
The biggest, most constant threat. It's the lure of expediency. It's choosing the easy way out, the quick fix, the shortcut, instead of the principled path. You know, most huge trust breakdowns don't actually start with one giant catastrophic lie. They often start with an accumulation of what we call small breaches.
Small breaches, like what kind of things are we talking about?
Oh, things like maybe slightly exaggerating results in a report, or putting off delivering bad news until after the weekend just to avoid the immediate discomfort, or making a promise you know you probably can't keep just to smooth things over in the moment.
Things that seem minor on their own.
Exactly. They seem minor individually, but each one sends a signal to your team. It signals that when push comes to shove, you might prioritize hitting a target or your own comfort over plain honesty, over integrity.
And those small compromises, they have bigger ripple effects, don't they? It's not just about your one-on-one relationship with someone. It starts to affect the whole team culture, the sociology of the group.
Absolutely. It contaminates the environment. The difference in operational outcomes between high trust and low trust cultures is stark. It's really measurable.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, high trust environments, they create what's called psychological safety. We hear this term a lot now regarding high-performing teams. When trust is high, people feel safe. Safe to admit they made a mistake, safe to ask for help when they're stuck, safe to disagree, even with the boss, without fearing they'll be punished for it.
Which frees up energy for actual work, right?
Precisely. Think about the early church described in Acts. That radical sharing they practice, that could only happen with profound mutual trust. It allows collaboration, speeds up innovation, because people aren't wasting energy watching their backs.
And the flip side, low trust.
In low-trust environments, all that energy gets turned inwards. It's diverted to self-protection. People start hoarding information because, knowledge is power in a toxic environment. There's resistance to change because people suspect the motives behind it. The whole organization just becomes brittle, fragile.
We can see this so clearly in that project manager scenario that came up in the sources. Let's walk through that. So, the setup is a project manager finds a serious technical problem. It basically guarantees a major deadline is going to be missed. Crunch time.
It really is the moment of truth, an integrity test. The pressure is immense, right? Deliver on time. So the compromise route, the expediency route, is to maybe don't play the issue. Hide how bad the delay really is. Then try to make up the time by pushing the team into crazy overtime burnout territory.
Maybe they even hit the deadline that way.
Maybe they do, temporarily. But at what cost? Immediate burnout for one, deep resentment from the team, and then inevitably the technical issue surfaces later anyway.
Because these things always do.
They always do. And then stakeholder trust is completely shattered. Not only has the manager been dishonest, but the team now knows the manager won't protect them from unrealistic pressure. That's a double blow.
Okay, so what's the integrity option? It sounds harder in the moment.
It is harder in the moment. It takes courage. The integrity option is immediate, crystal clear communication. You proactively tell your bosses, you tell the team, look, due to this unexpected technical issue, the original deadline isn't feasible anymore. You present the facts, the data, honestly, and then, importantly, you proactively suggest solutions, a new plan.
Even though it's uncomfortable news.
Especially because it's uncomfortable news.
Yeah.
It's inconvenient, yes, but doing that builds massive long-term influence. The team feels respected because you told them the truth. Stakeholders, even if disappointed, value the honesty and the proactive management of expectations. It shows integrity matters more to you than just looking good temporarily.
That makes perfect sense. But look, even the best leaders, the most well-intentioned, they're human. They're going to mess up sometimes. Trust will get broken occasionally.
Inevitably.
So when that happens, what's the actual practical way back? You can't just snap your fingers and demand people trust you again, can you?
Absolutely not. Demand and trust back is pointless, even counterproductive. It has to be re-earned, slowly, deliberately. So we need tools for this. Two kinds, really. Proactive tools to maintain trust, and reactive tools for when you need to rebuild it.
Okay, let's start with proactive.
Proactively, leaders should think about having something like a trust scorecard. Not a literal checklist, maybe, but a mental framework, a way to constantly self-audit, and it centers on three key areas: credibility, reliability, and transparency.
Credibility, reliability, transparency. Okay, how do those work in practice? Like, what does auditing my credibility actually mean day to day?
Good question. Credibility is about assessing both your competence and your integrity. So are you keeping your skills sharp? Are you actually delivering on the promises you make, say, to clients, or even just in meetings? Reliability is about that consistency and predictability we talked about. Are you accessible when your team needs you? Are your decisions fair and consistent? Or do they seem arbitrary, depending on who's involved? And transparency hits on benevolence and openness. Are you sharing information openly or hoarding it? Crucially, are you explaining the why behind decisions, especially the unpopular ones? It's this ongoing, honest look in the mirror.
I like that, a continuous self-check. Okay, now what about when a significant breach happens? A real mistake, a lie is discovered, or you failed to support your team when they needed it.
Right, when the damage is done. For those situations, the source material points to a really profound three-step pathway for rebuilding that trust. And it can't be rushed.
Okay, what are the three steps?
Confession, repentance, and restitution.
Confession first.
Yes. Confession is absolutely critical as the first step. And it means taking full, unreserved responsibility. No excuses, no minimizing, no buts. You have to specifically name the wrong you did and express genuine remorse for the impact it had, the pain it caused. The ultimate example often cited is King David's confession in Psalm 51 after his terrible mistakes. It's just raw, absolute ownership, no finger pointing.
Okay, full ownership, then repentance. How is that different?
Repentance is the action part. It's the visible, sustained change in behavior. Feeling sorry isn't enough. You have to actively turn away from the behavior that broke the trust and demonstrate over time that you're committed to a new way. Think about Zacchaeus, the corrupt tax collector in the Gospels. His repentance wasn't just saying sorry. He publicly committed to radical restitution, paying back 4 times what he'd wrongly taken. That visible, costly action was the proof of his changed heart.
Restitution. Okay, so in Zacchaeus' case, it was money. But in a modern leadership context, if you've broken trust by, say, burning out your team through bad planning or dishonesty, what does restitution look like? It's not always financial, right?
That's a really important point. No, it's often not financial. In a leadership context, restitution means making a tangible effort to repair the damage caused to the system or to the people. So if you broke trust by overworking people, restitution isn't just apologizing, it's immediately fixing the resource plan. It's publicly acknowledging the poor planning. It's implementing new safeguards, maybe new metrics, to ensure it doesn't happen again. It's concrete actions that address the root cause of the injury. The ultimate picture of gentle restoration might be Jesus recommissioning Peter after Peter denied him. It wasn't about punishment. It was about reaffirming the relationship, focusing on Peter's heart commitment, "Do you love me?" and then giving him a renewed call to faithful action, "Feed my sheep," proving trust through new positive action.
That lays it out so clearly. Proactive building through credibility, reliability, transparency, and reactive rebuilding through confession, repentance, restitution. So what does this all mean? Let's bring it home for everyone listening who's leading a team or aspires to lead right now. Well, this deep dive really hammers home that trust isn't soft stuff. It's volatile. It needs managing like a crucial investment portfolio. And integrity. It's not just morally right, it's strategically essential. Those small breaches add up. The shortcut we've kind of outlined today is using those 4 dimensions: competence, benevolence, integrity, predictability as your regular checkup tool, and knowing the 3 steps: confession, repentance, restitution, are your recovery plan if things go wrong, ultimately building real lasting influence. It seems it's not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. with integrity. And the big payoff isn't just project success, it's creating a resilient, self sustaining culture where people genuinely want to commit.
Exactly. And that really leads us perfectly into the final thought we want to leave you with this week, something to maybe reflect on. If trust truly is the measure of leadership effectiveness, take an honest look. How healthy is your own trust balance sheet right now? Are your daily actions, your transparency, your consistency making deposits, or small shortcuts, maybe even silence when you should speak up, slowly draining that account?